They call us California refugees, people fleeing the Golden State in search of a better life. But what does that really mean? So today I'm sharing exactly what it's like being a California refugee and why so many of us feel like we had no choice but to leave California. Okay, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy, Expat, also known as a California refugee. I talk about life abroad, culture shock, and what it's like to leave America behind. Okay, and as someone who left California, I can tell you firsthand, being a California refugee is not just about moving, it's about survival. So let's break it down. Let's look at reason number one, cost of living that pushes you out. Rent at $3,000 for a one bedroom. Gas is sometimes as high as $7 a gallon. Groceries that make you double check your bank app. It's no wonder people are leaving. Okay, you don't move because you want to. Like, who doesn't like California, right? We got everything. We got the weather. We got the beaches. We got the vibe, right? We got people that got we got the California mentality. Who doesn't like that? Okay? People are moving because they just can't afford to stay. And that makes me a California refugee. That's reason number one. Reason number two, okay, you got, feeling tax into the ground. So California's taxes are some of the highest in the country. You got income tax, sales tax, fees on everything. You feel like no matter how hard you work, the state taxes half of your paycheck before you even touch it. Before you even touch it. Now you got reason number three, you got homelessness and safety concerns. Can't ignore it, right? You got tents on the sidewalk, rising crime in major cities, the feeling that the California dream is collapsing right in front of you. People call it paradise, but for many, it feels more like a pressure cooker. I mean, I saw people stealing right in front of me, man. When I was last time I was in California, and I was in the mall, a group of teenagers walked straight in. It was one of them stores, right? In the mall, like clothing stores. It was like a JCPenney's or Macy's or something. They went straight in and just grabbed a handful of clothes and just ran out. And the guy, he was like, sir, sir, sir. And they just left. Nothing happened to him, too. Police didn't do nothing. All right, that brings me to number four. When I was in California, I felt overworked and undervalued. Okay, in California, the grind culture is insane. People work 2 jobs, hustle nonstop, and it's still a struggle. And as a refugee, you start to realize life shouldn't be just about survival. It shouldn't be, it should be about living. When you take a look, man, this is California talk where people are like, yeah, I just found a storage container. You could live there, right? I just look at this, like, this is my bedroom, this is my living room, right? No. Taking storage containers, where do you, they have it where you rent a storage unit. I see people trying to live in there, vans, cars. Like, I love California, but you can miss me with all that, man. I'm good. I'm not basically being like some glamorized homeless person living there. You know what I mean? And they, when the people that I've seen doing that stuff, they make it seem like they're being so resourceful. It's like, now you're getting played. Like, I don't love California enough if it means I have to live in a storage unit to survive. I'm like hide to go to the bathroom, like pee in a bottle and all that. No, I ain't doing none of that stuff, man. I'm good. I am good. I like it, but I don't love it that much. Okay, reason number 5. You got the culture shock of leaving. When you finally leave, you realize how different the rest of the world lives. Whether you move to another state or to another country, you notice maybe sometimes it's calmer streets, cheaper cost, and people who aren't as stressed out. That's a real culture shock, realizing how heavy life is in California. Just with that cost of living, man, it's hard. It's hard to get over that hump. Seems like it's just getting more and more and more expensive. Okay, looking at reason number 6, losing, but also gaining community. So leaving California means losing some connections, but it also opens up space for new ones. So as a refugee, you're going to constantly be rebuilding your sense of community. And sometimes that's where you may find the most growth. It's good. Sometimes you have to change and understand that, California is a wonderful place. It's not the center of the universe. So if you do have to move on and try something else, it'll still be okay. Okay, reason number 7, identity shift. Being a California refugee, becomes part of your identity. You carry the Golden State with you, but you also wear the badge of someone who got out. Okay, it's bittersweet because you love where you came from, but you also know you couldn't sustain it anymore. And that's important. A lot of people are just, you get wrapped up in this grind and you're losing sleep and you're just trying to barely hang on and survive. And you don't really have a chance to just sit back and think about it and be like, you know what? I'm not getting out of this. I'm not getting out of it. And that's the thing. Sometimes you have to be able to sit and reflect and see that you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're really just in a trap. So, what's it like being a California refugee? It's painful. It's liberating, but it's also complicated. You've left behind beaches and sunshine and memories, but you also gain peace of mind, financial freedom, and maybe even a fresh start somewhere new. Now, I want to know, are you a California refugee? Did you leave California? If so, where'd you go? Or have you left, or are you thinking about leaving? Drop the story in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video because the California exodus is real. And the conversation has just begun. A lot of people are leaving California. And the sad thing is really not because we want to, but we really feel like we're being forced out. I end up living abroad, but I tell you, I got an early jump. And when I got a chance to experience the adult world, I saw that, good Lord, California's expensive. And you look at it, right? And to me, it's kind of insane. Like, you could spend $700,000 on a house and get almost that same exact house in another state for less than half that price, depending on the state, of course. But that's the thing. If it was something special about the house, just besides the fact that, it's in California, it's the same exact house almost, same builders. And that just seems just like a ripoff. I really feel like there should be some type of policies put in place, maybe rent control or something like that to at least give us an option. Because I really didn't feel like I actually had an option to leave California. I feel like the choice was kind of made for me, because I'm someone that seeks a particular quality of life. And it would take so much money for me to have the equivalent type of life that I have now, having that in California. I just said, I'm good, man. I'm good. But that doesn't mean I don't love California. That doesn't mean I won't go back and visit. But I'm good. Unfortunately, I'm good. It's just way too expensive. And that trade-off just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, if you want to know more about me, I'm Expat D. I also call myself the California Refugee. And it's good to have this conversation. There's a lot of California people that are around. I know we're spread out. I know a lot of people left. And, this is a good place that we can come gather. And you know what? I'm a traveler. And if you're someone that's thinking about leaving and you're looking for like an equivalent place, Maybe a place that has similar weather. Maybe a place that has a similar sense of community that you felt when you're there. Or maybe, a place that might have certain beaches or marinas or whatever you liked in California. This is a big world, and you can find your next beach, or you find your next marina, or park, or something that you love there, uh, to make you get that sense of home, even though you're not in California anymore, right? For a lot of us, it's time to move on. But anyway, I'm Expat D. I'm going to end it here. Thanks a lot if you stayed on for the whole video. Peace, and I'm out.